Not once in this discovery algorithm did YouTube mention the word subscribers. I'm not going to add anything to that, I'm just putting it out there. Now then, hey folks, I'm Rob, welcome back to vidIQ, educating you on your YouTube journey. And today's lesson is all about YouTube impressions and how to get more of them. Basically, whenever a viewer sees one of your thumbnails on a YouTube page, that is classed as an impression. It's essentially free advertising from YouTube, and you want as much of it as possible. Now, once again, YouTube, in a recent video from the awesome Creator Insider team, have essentially exposed how this works. So for full disclosure, I don't want to take complete credit for everything I'm about to say. I'm going to reference a lot of it from the Creator Insider video, but at the same time, when I did this previously, our video got more views than the Creator Insider video. So I feel as if I'm helping spread the gospel about how the YouTube algorithms really work. YouTube, Creator Insider, you're welcome. You can review how many impressions your videos are getting through the YouTube Studio. And there is a little bit of insight here into how discovery works, as YouTube states. You can increase the chance of YouTube suggesting your content by increasing your click-through rate and your video watch time. But this isn't a perfect formula, because looking at these graphs, impressions are down, but click-through rate, the percentage of time that someone clicks on an impression, is up. So obviously there's more at play than just click-through rate and watch time, and YouTube lists these other factors in 3 categories: viewer personalization, video performance, and content seasonality. Let's take a look at personalization first. This is all about the individual viewer and what they have watched in the past. Once YouTube knows this, it can surface what it thinks the viewer is most likely to enjoy. This is where you need to start thinking about YouTube less as an algorithm and more as an individual recommendation system. If it was only about click-through rate and watch time, then everybody would be recommended exactly the same videos based on that data alone. As entertaining and watchable as MrBeast is, he's only going to appeal to a small fraction of the global YouTube audience. But YouTube is very good at finding that audience, and MrBeast is very good at creating content for that audience, or indeed the individual viewer. But at the same time, YouTube will try and figure out who else you may like to watch if you are a fan of MrBeast. Here is one of MrBeast's crazy idea videos in which he fills his brother's house with slime. Now, on the suggested video column, YouTube thinks we may enjoy something from Mark Rober, who, while not exactly the same type of creator, does have some crossover in the zany challenge style videos. Once we go down the Mark Rober rabbit hole a little bit and end up on a video about scam artists, YouTube is now recommending me videos from a channel I've never heard of who exposes scam artists. Jump into that video, and now YouTube reckons I want more scam artist stories. Plus videos from Marcus Brownlee. I always watch his videos. He made a video recently about reviewing a purple iPhone. Yeah, I even watched that as well. What YouTube is trying to work out here is what content is watched together, be it through a relationship between the video creators or the video topic. You've enjoyed video A, but we know that video A and B work well together. And if you watch video B, then you may want to try out video C. And so the YouTube rabbit hole commences. And when YouTube learns more about a viewer and the channels and the topics that they watch, then it can balance out what to recommend to them. And just as an important sidebar to all of this recommendation stuff that YouTube's talking about, not once do they ever mention subscribers. I'm not going to say anything else, I'm just putting it out there. And to throw another curveball into the mix, viewers' interests change over time. This Google Trends graph shows interest over time for 3 of the most popular video games in the last decade: Minecraft, Roblox, and Fortnite. It is inevitable that trends rise and fall over time, even more so at an individual level. It is therefore important for you as a creator to be sensitive to those changes in interest. This is where returning viewer data is invaluable. You may develop an audience for a topic, and that audience may stay because they are as passionate about the topic as you, or love you as a creator. But that doesn't mean the rest of the world still shares that same interest, and YouTube has a hard time finding a new audience. And so again, that might be a reason why, yes, you do get high click-through rate and you do get high watch time, but no increase in impressions because YouTube can't connect your content to other content that viewers may like to watch. Let me give you another quick gaming example. Among Us was certainly the YouTube game of 2020, but its interest is waning fast. And 3D animator Jake Fellman recognised this, even though Among Us had catapulted his channel to millions of subscribers and billions of views. So he pivoted from Among Us 3D animation to Minecraft animation. It took a while for his existing audience to adjust and for YouTube to find that eternally massive Minecraft audience, but the numbers prove it was the right decision. So this is the area of discovery you're probably most familiar with because it all directly relates to the performance of your videos. YouTube is looking at what viewers do when they are offered a video, and along with click-through rate, they observe viewer feedback. Here's my question though, does anybody actually click on these? I would assume relatively few do, in which case do they carry a lot of weight in the YouTube recommendation system? I'm just thinking aloud here, by the way, no data to prove it. It's no surprise, of course, that average view duration and audience retention are factored in, but the question still remains, which is more important? I think the best answer we will ever get from YouTube is both. And then we come to viewer satisfaction, and this is the second time I've seen YouTube in recent memory placing likes and dislikes prominently in their education on discovery. So yeah, if you do want to help us out, make sure you click that thumbs up button. But I would have thought comments would be a far more valuable indicator in terms of viewer satisfaction. I mean, tapping a button takes less than a second, but thinking about what you're going to write and then writing it takes 10 times as long. Maybe YouTube just can't accurately gauge the satisfaction from a viewer comment. Having said all that, the focus of YouTube's first video on discovery was viewer satisfaction, which we cover in detail here. Now, while YouTube mostly recommends what you should watch on the platform, it doesn't, yet anyway, control what you actually decide to watch. And as a global audience at large, that being 2 billion monthly users, what you end up watching influences what YouTube shows you. These external factors YouTube can't really control, and while we've already discussed changing topic interests over time, one thing creators sometimes fail to recognise is competition within their video topic. This is where we can start to explore the exciting idea of untapped topic niches. If you drill down into a niche enough and create content on a very consistent basis, yes, you may find a smaller audience, but the competition within that topic could be minuscule, which allows you to dominate. Does anyone remember Age of Empires 2? Well, think Clash of Clans over 20 years ago and 20 times better. Apparently people still play it and are still passionate about it, and there ain't that many channels covering it. So this channel, albeit small, is creating loads of content around the game on a very consistent basis. Does this limit the potential audience size? Well, it just so happens there's a modern remake of the game coming soon, Age of Empires 4, and the creator is intelligently slotting content around that game into his video content. On the other side of this equation, there may be occasions where you publish a video that's related to a recent news story and the video is performing excellently. You've got high click-through rate, great watch time, audience retention, but even that doesn't stop the video from tanking. And that could be due to competition. Let's say the new release of an iPhone, for example. You may have some exclusive information that's relevant to an audience for a couple of hours before everybody else jumps on board, and then you're just swamped by all of these competitors who can create better quality content, or the viewer gets more satisfaction out of them. Unfortunately, when you are in a very competitive space, that is just the nature of the beast, which is why we always suggest you find your own little corner on YouTube and branch out your topic and your audience from there. And then there are just common sense seasonality changes. Don't start making Christmas buying guides in April. Nobody cares. Save them till November. Think about when seasonal events reach their peak and aim to launch your content just a fraction before then. Also, think about your audience. If it is a younger audience, then during the summer, it might not be a good idea to publish content in the week because they're out doing activities and they may watch more videos on a Saturday and a Sunday. But of course, with viewing habits, you'll need to experiment to understand when your audience is ready to watch your YouTube videos. So in returning to the through line of this video, how to get more impressions and be discovered on YouTube. It is not strictly to do with click-through rate and watch time. It is about you I'm not talking to you, the creator, right now. I'm talking to you, the viewer. If you can understand what your viewer wants to watch, how it relates to other content on YouTube, and when they want to watch it, and how to satisfy that viewer, then you're on the right track. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. I have no idea what this has got to do with baseball in any way, shape or form.